So there are about 4 things I like about this chapter. Number 1 is the opening sentence. There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. I like the sentence because it immediately made me curious. Why does the author talk about taking a walk? And it ends with that day, which is very strong, short, simple phrase. So I can't help but be curious what happened that day. Is there any dramatic, significant thing happened that day? So I think it serves as a very good opening sentence. And number 2, I kind of like how the author depicts the villain, Jane's aunt, the bad woman. You know, I've been reading lots of romance novel, and in every romance novel there's always be a bad woman mistreat the protagonist of the story. But unfortunately, in most of these novels, this kind of bad women are or tasteless, flat figures, just like the stepmother in Cinderella story. But here, I think this Jane's aunt is quite interesting because she kind of blamed Jane for her attitude towards Jane. Basically, she was saying just because Jane was so unlikable, so she just couldn't stand being around her. And she actually accused Jane for not being childlike, which is very ironic because I think part of the reason Jane is not childlike is she's never been treated or loved as a child, which is very ironic. And this kind of irony gives more depth and flavor of this character. And number 3, I think I like how first time we met Jane, she was reading the book on the windowsill, kind of retreat from all her family, from the people who mistreated her. And she buried her nose in the book and really enjoyed it. That image is very, I think that image will draw lots of readers because many of us, we were reading this book as an escape, just like Jane was doing at that moment. So we can immediately feel more connected to this character. And number 4. I think I like there are lots of details in this chapter. It's totally fine if you just ignore all those details, like talk about the birds, the history book about birds Jane was reading. It's totally fine. It won't. You still understand the plot better. But if you dig deeper a little bit into these details, you will appreciate more about the writing. Let me give you an example. It talks about the family nurse, Bessie, used to tell love stories to Jane when she's in good mood. And it mentioned those stories are from a novel called Pamela. And I did a little research. I found out Pamela was a novel that was popular like several decades before Jane Eyre. And it's a romance novel, but maybe a little bit problematic to modern taste. It's about a servant girl who was chased by his lustful master all around the house, and to the extent that she finally has to agree to be his wife. So I think it serves a really good foreshadow for this novel because that's the situation kind of similar to what Jane will experience later, but they're still very different. The personality of the 2 heroines of the book and the choice they made and the ending are also very different. So but still, if you know the background of this book, you will appreciate more. It gives more depth to the writing. And that's how I learned from the first chapter. It's really good reading, and I'll continue to read next chapter. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.